I say, you know that extra chromosome? You're an X-Man. There'll be a lot of people coming up to her like, oh, we saw your last show, Fiona. Way to go, Fiona. Da, 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 da. And she goes, that's because I'm famous.
Hey, everybody, I have a really good treat for you today. I have Dr. Quincey Daniels and his daughter, Fiona. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Oh, we're doing well.
Hi.
All right.
Quincey and Fiona, it is an absolute honor to have you on today. Tell us just a little bit about yourself, Quincey. A little bit of background and we'll
okay. Let's see. I call this my fourth career, training my daughter. I'll be a military retiree from San Antonio, Texas, and then I was a special education teacher, then a K-12 principal, and now I'm a university professor. And along with my daughter, she kind of got interested, in bodybuilding, and that was like 2018. And 2019, we really got after it. One of the things that people may not know is that her grandfather was an Olympic bronze medalist in boxing in the 1960 Olympics. So when I tell her, I said, you have Olympian blood running through you, so we're always going to be good. So she's starting to understand that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Now, you have how many kids?
11.
11 kids.
So, half of them are adults now, so we still have 5 that are at home. So it can get really busy, but we have our own little support group when we go to different competitions. So everybody carries something in, and we only have to make one trip. Before then, it was a little busy, go back and forth, but we manage it.
I know everybody in the Down syndrome community has like a diagnosis story of some type.
I always say sometimes back then, it wasn't a real great bedside manner. The geneticists came by and they were telling us all the things that she couldn't do. And I'm going, my background being a special education teacher and working it every day, I was like, no, don't tell me what she can't do. And she's just born. So I think we're going to do a lot better than what you think. So that was the major crux of why we started taking her to speech therapy, all the other things, birth to 3. We did everything that we could do, occupational therapy, all of them. And we just kept going because it's not that people with Down syndrome can't learn. They just learn at a different rate. She didn't walk till she was 2. And we're like, is anything going to happen? And it's like, yep, she finally did. And we're like, all right. Then we started putting her all these activities. So everything helped. Karate. That was one. She had 7 years of Irish dance, which probably contributes to why she has big quads. So she can still do Irish dance if she has to. Every now and then. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fiona is a great example and more of an inspiration to so many out there. And I have to give a shout out to one of her big fans I know is going to be watching, if she's probably watching. Her name is Jessica, and her little 1-year-old Marley Joe. She's huge fans of you all. And she even told me personally that to tell you that she is so inspired and you're such a big inspiration to her. And I know that I'm sure there's many people that feel that way. And that, what got you into weight lifting and training and
somewhere we were, every now and then we go to a bodybuilding show, and right about 2018 there was this bodybuilding show, and they had this guy because she's a horror movie fan. You name a horror movie, she's probably seen it. So this guy comes out with an it mask and he's just doing poses and everything. Lo and behold, I look away and she runs up over by him and they're doing a pose down. And I'm like, oh, you like being on stage or bodybuilding? She's like, yep. But I didn't know anything about, because things weren't, I haven't really thought about that in so many decades. I didn't worry about it. But what we noticed is that somewhere, and this is one of the things about physiology and slow metabolism, couple that with some of the food choices that they use in schools. And she went from like maybe 120 to about 158, and things weren't getting any better. So when she said, I said, well, you remember when you want to do some bodybuilding? You want to start training? And she's like, okay. And then she's like, she likes hanging around Dad. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we started working out, and one of the things we did, we cut all the sugar, threw everything out, just got rid of everything. Started a lot of vegetables. And then we said, well, we should be under contract between Lean Cuisine and Healthy Choice, because and they say, well, what's her diet? It's like real easy. Lean Cuisine, Healthy Choice, 3 protein shakes. And in the first month, and I remember it because we had her trainer and everything, she lost 13 pounds. So
she went from how much to 95?
Yeah, 158 pounds to 95 pounds in 6 months. And when she got on stage, she won her division for special needs, first place. So we had a good start.
Yeah. I mean, that's really awesome in and of itself.
So we'd go over to Iron Physique, and you'd see all the monsters out there. And she would always go, oh, I want to be like those. I'm like, well, you just got to train like them. So I wasn't going to throw her into it all at one time. So we just kind of worked it. It was like 4 days a week, then 5 days a week. Then we got to our current schedule, 6 days on, 1 day off. What's your 1 day off?
Friday.
Yep. Fridays are 1 day off. And she gets 1 cheat meal a week. What's your favorite?
Ribs.
Yeah, she likes ribs.
Ooh.
We were going along with, a second place, maybe a first here and there. And then all of a sudden, she started putting it all together. And it's like a lot of people started to go, oh, well, she's winning because she has Down syndrome. I was like, no, she's winning because she shows up. And that's why it's really important for inclusion. Because any particular time somebody goes, well, it's like, you could have showed up and you should have been in better shape. And my daughter works really, really hard in the gym. When they say, well, how do you start off? 45 minutes of Stairmaster. That's the cardio part. And then we lift an hour of weights. So we usually are in there, and on the 2 days, we allocate 3 hours a day for that workout. So she will squat 135 to 150. So that's one of the things where we're going, all 4'9" of her will, and everybody else stop at the gym and go, she lifting that? It's like, yes, she does. And she'll deadlift, and she's working her way up on the deadlift as well, because we always train heavy. Because when we got the invitation to go to the Arnold Fitness Expo, and we're like, okay. I was expecting that maybe in a few more years, but no, we got the invitation, so there wasn't a real off season. But it was really fun, but 8,000 people. It was like, oh my gosh. And this is where I think we had a good start point. I would have preferred that she win that one, but you can't win everything on your first try. But getting 6th out of 9 against women who are like 25 years old, 30 years old on up is not too bad.
That's awesome.
And when I asked the judges, I'm like, well, so what was the difference? They're like, well, everybody comes in with the 6-pack and, shoulders, but we were looking for legs. I said, she has quads. Since she has quads, the quad development got her through on that part, and she got to be on stage, get a big medal and all that. So she was all happy with that. But she gets her personality when she does the Angel competition or the Angel fashion show. And the Angel fashion show, she was in her element, and I think they had they took the video from somewhere over there and put it on the World of Down Syndrome I guess they're an internet magazine. And yeah, she's like, oh, more people know me. I'm like, yes, a lot of people know you.
And you got quite a few angel wings, right?
Yeah.
I think you have 7.
Yeah.
And she wants more. The way we tend to do is every 2 shows or so, we get new angel wings. Otherwise, people go, oh, we know what you're going to do. It's like, no, we change it up every now and then.
Do we have a favorite?
Which one? Which wing was your favorite?
Just normal.
Oh, let's see. I think that's the one they had with the if you see Maleficent, where they have the little hook claws at the end.
That's cool. That's cool.
But we got her in heels this last show. Didn't you like wearing heels?
Yeah.
Well, we had to have her walk around in her heels every day to kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
Because the first time, flop. Second time, flop.
Not fun.
I thought it was. And then she's like, my feet hurt. Why do people wear these things? I'm like, because that's
the big question, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, how long have you been doing it and getting awards with this? How long has that been going on?
Since her very first show. So she's had, when you get the statues and things like that, that's usually indicative of, well, okay, you got that. And as she likes to say, ooh, we need to go ahead and record you doing the posing practice. Like, that'll never happen. Because I'm just not gonna go. Oh, no, that will never come out. It's like, you'll look good in heels, Dad. I'm like, no, that ain't happening.
You seem to really enjoy it, Fiona. I know it's a ton of work. I can't even imagine it, but
so you enjoy it, yes?
It's kind of funny.
Oh, okay. What it is, when she says it's kind of, it's because there'll be a lot of people coming up to her. It's like, oh, we saw your last show, Fiona. Way to go, Fiona. Da 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 da. And she goes, that's because I'm famous. So she gets a lot of work. But this is one thing about her metabolism. She's off for 3 days. She'll gain 2-3 pounds real quick.
Wow.
So we're always fighting the genetics.
Right. But it's also the genetics that make you so special. And I've gotten, over the last couple of years, gotten to know so many people that are so special because they have that extra something. We're
sci-fi geeks in our family. And, we'll watch X-Men. I think we've seen every X-Men movie forever. And I say, that extra chromosome? You're an X-Men. We have to really work hard to kind of get our name out. And we start talking to other people about, oh, yeah, we can do this. We can go here. We can work hard. We can bring together more competitors. And they're like, that's 3 hours. And I'm like, I know it's 3 hours, but you got to start somewhere. You're not going to get it all at one time, but you just got to build up. And the major reason was to get healthy. You really are going to practice for one show with posing, probably 60, 70 different times. Tanning, oh my gosh, I never knew tanning was that expensive. And this one, this one, because everybody who's in line, and you just better get used to being an open person, because they say, all right, drop all the clothes and hold your arms out. And she goes running, and we're like, no, not before you enter that side of the room. I remember we paid like $400 for this bikini set. And it came in an envelope. I paid $500 or $400 for this, and she's like, go to your mother, let's see if it fits. And and so, but it came in an envelope. I was expecting, at least a box, thank you note. And the big thing about what bodybuilding has done for her, confidence.
Right.
And if there's ever anything where she's afraid to be, because 8,000 people, that was a lot. The bodybuilding community builds her up. It's just, there was one where it's like, we were going to freeze. And the other lady came out, took her by the hand. It's like, you got this. And then the next thing you know, Fiona's personality came back out. And there it was, because when you look out in the audience, you go, ooh. And trust me, that stage was huge. It was. But once you get used to it, because if it's new, it's going to be a challenge. Right. So we always want to go out, and we call it recon from the old military days. Get up on stage the night before so you get to know the stage and feel, okay, I got it. But they weren't having that at the Arnold. It's like, we asked, and the lady's like, I know, but no.
Oh, man.
They were not letting anybody backstage. It was all right. It was a very good learning experience.
I mean, you have quite an incredible journey so far, and it's phenomenal to me.
She's
Absolutely
getting there. It's just eventually it'll be like everybody kind of knows a little bit about Fiona. In the angel competitions, it's really tough. So she had a couple of seconds in a row, and she'd just go, why am I second? I'm like, because there can only be one. If you ever watch Highlander. But it was like, they were like, well, we're sorry. I'm like, no. It's like, never be sorry for winning. The big thing is it makes her work harder. That's the big thing. And it's like, you want to win? You got to earn it. And eventually it goes just like that. You're not going to be known as, the competitor with Down syndrome. You're just going to be known as the winner. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's the major reason.
Now, what are your brothers and sisters? What are their thoughts? What do they think? Their little sister is becoming a big famous, bodybuilder. They have thoughts on it?
Do they like it?
I can't tell otherwise.
They have a tendency to like get into her stuff because they're at that age, and it's like, get out of my room. And she's being the typical older sister, and it's like, why are you touching my stuff? And you'll hear this, Dad, they're touching my stuff in my room. I'm like, okay. And we try to explain it to him. It's like, this is expensive. Do not play with her wings.
Oh man.
But her favorite thing is getting her hair done and getting all the makeup and all this stuff. I call her, she's a little high maintenance.
Ooh.
Yeah, because she likes getting all that attention. Or what is it, spa day? We did it when we were in Nashville because we went in for graduation. And Mom took her to a spa day, and that was it. I like my hot rock therapy and people like giving me and doing my nail. Oh, yeah, she liked all that.
Now, some of her older siblings, are they pretty proud of her? I can imagine.
Yeah, it's just one of those because her brother, he's a Marine Corps officer. He's like, must she wear the bikini? I'm like, yes, she must wear the bikini.
They're protective. Yeah, I get it.
I sent out in the story as it was really funny, and he's going to say, why did you tell them that? So I'm like, she finally got to a point where the body fat was coming off. Everything was starting to go. Her posing was down. So I'm like taking pictures and saying like, your sister's going to really do well this competition. He goes, oh, wow. And of course, his being military and a Marine, they go, oh, wow, she's hot. And he goes, don't even say that. That's my sister. He's like, what? You have pictures of your sister in the bikini? And everybody was laughing at him. And he's like, no, don't get it like that because my dad sent it to me. And they go, what kind of family do you have?
I can imagine, especially in the military. Oh my goodness. How is Mom? What is her thoughts of all this? She's like, yeah.
The first year she was like, are you sure about this? I'm like, yeah, but she was a marathon runner, and now she might do maybe a half marathon, but she just it's like, okay, whatever it takes, let's get her moving. I'll handle some of the logistics and making sure the clothing changes, because when you get backstage, it is hectic. They got the men running out, they have the women running out because it's got to be on clockwork time, and you got to know where you're going and what you're doing. Now, because it's her fourth year and it's her hair, we have her on one of the collagen-based things with her protein shake, and the hair starts to grow. And we figure another couple of years she won't have to have the extensions. But when you have to have the extensions, it's like, okay, and the hair thing, and that's expensive for them. I'm like, why are you charging so much for her to get the hair extension? And say, well, you want to do it? I'm like, I'm not doing it. But every now and then, before we started doing that, we would do it. And it would be okay. But once we got the professionals to do it, then she went from third to start making second, and then she got a few first. But she meal preps her own breakfast, so she'll. What? How many eggs do you get?
Eggs.
Yeah, how many? 4 or 5. What?
Vegan.
Yeah. So we'll start probably 4 to 5 eggs plus a protein waffle because we're in the small bulking season. And then as we get like 6, 7 weeks out, we start going down and reducing. So
gotcha.
That's where. So she's building. It just takes a while, but just got to be patient.
Learning other skills, cooking. I mean, I seen that cooking little video you had. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. If bodybuilding wasn't her thing, what do you think would be?
Probably a sci-fi movie critic. If it's not horror movies, then it's Godzilla. If it's not Godzilla, then it's like anything on Netflix that's sci-fi based, because we'll watch Batman, Superman. It's just, that's what we do. We're a family of geeks. We go to Renaissance festivals. Medieval times would be for real. It's like they ought to invest in us. High school was not fun. It wasn't at all.
No.
And it was like, you'll see, she had a couple of, but, can you imagine going through the entire 4 years? Some people take longer, but 4 years. Yeah. And any parties? Any invitations? No. Any dating? No. She didn't get her first date till last year. So that's just one of those things where no matter how well you're looking, the first thing people are going to see is kind of like color, disability. It just jumps out at people. They're either uncomfortable or not, or they're comfortable with it. And I say that's why we're included, because I'm big on inclusion. And the first thing I keep telling them is like, she's going to surprise you. You just don't know. And then when she walked out on the Arnold and her quads were like, they were like, what's she on? I call it hard work. That's what she's on.
That's awesome.
I said, you got genetics. Because they always say you get it from your grandparents. I'm like, okay, well, your grandfather was a little crazy, but it's all right. But I said, quads and physicality and all this other stuff, it's coming. And I just got to be patient enough I'm like, I know where she's going. It's just that she's competing with people who've been at it 15, 20 years.
Right.
So I just said it's coming. Just keep working. Everybody who likes to say, well, this is all they can do. It's like, no, there's a whole lot more that people with Down syndrome can do, disabilities they can do. But we always say you're not going to win every time, but you get the right to try.
That's right.
You get the right to try. And eventually it may, and I mean, to get that first big win took 2.5 years because we didn't know what we were doing. So I'm like looking at how everybody else was on stage. I'm like, okay, well, can we do that? All right. And I knew I had to go and master that posing thing that I never wanted to do. I'm like, okay, hold this position here. Get the arms here. Flow. All right, now when you make your turn, make it smooth. And then I started feeling like I was one of those fame directors. It's like, let's go, because she doesn't. Now everybody thinks she's all happy all the time. Sometimes it's like she's just a regular teenager at that time, and she gets grumpy.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, what do you mean we ran out of eggs? I need the eggs now.
That's right. Go get some.
And she's just grumpy. They call it hangry. Oh yeah, she gets hangry. It's like, it's time to eat. It's like, because we will eat 6 times a day.
Wow.
And that's just because we're putting in, it's like, let's see, the 45 minutes will burn up about 600 calories then the other hour of working out, that'll burn about another maybe 500 or so. As long as we're going under, we'll keep it about 1,500 to 1,800 calories. But once we get down to peak week, we're talking 500, 600, 700 at the most while we're doubling the cardio. And that's what it takes. And then everybody's like, is she really going to eat that rack of ribs, a burger, and a shake? Yeah, that's her after a meal. That's one meal.
That's awesome. Wow. That is awesome. That is awesome.
I don't know. We're getting there. I figure somebody's going to pay attention nationally eventually.
We're going to be right back after this quick message from my friends, and we'll get some final thoughts from Fiona and Quincey right after this.
My nanny always say, shine your light, by your moment, by your heart and joy into something you really want to create. And I do. I create Made with Love.
If you're looking for positive and uplifting movies that empower actors seeking to shine their light, you'll be blessed to check out Made with Love, a movie to show the love and value of individuals with Down syndrome, and to star our best friend Jay. The world sure could use a lot more love, and you can make a difference. Be a part of this project. Visit madewithlovethemovie.com to learn more.
And we're back with Quincey and Fiona. All right. Any final thoughts for all your fans and friends and followers that look up to you so much for what you're doing and what you mean to the Down syndrome community?
Tell me you're tough.
That's my boyfriend.
Yeah, you're the boy. She's like ready to start dating again. It's like, wow. And part of the other thing, as you watch people who are dating, it's like somehow you got to fit that into the training schedule. It's like, really. And we've said, okay, you want to date? Okay, fine. We're at the gym 5 a.m. That lasted a month. I'm like, we don't expect you to work as hard as she does. You got to build up to it. No, literally, that was about a month. But it's progress. And I told her, a lot of people, it's never a straight line. It's kind of always like this when you're trying to find out what works for you. The biggest thing that I've ever seen that most people who are on the regular side don't understand is that we're all going to walk on with a disability at some point.
Right.
And you're not going to escape it. And I had like, what was it? Double blown out knees last year when I fell. ACL, MCL, PCL, quad tendons, all gone. And here I am after surgery. And I'm having a major pity party. And I'm going, this isn't good. I'm never going to walk again because nothing was moving. Nothing was moving. Wow. And I'm sitting in my wheelchair and my daughter comes back upstairs and I'm like, well, what are you doing? She has these like 40-pound weights and she's like, time to work out. I'm like, oh, I'm in the, basically in a bed, can't go for 5 weeks. And she's like, I'm like, knees are hurt. I can't move much, and she's like, your upper body isn't hurt. She's like, let's go. I've got training to do because we're going to be on stage. I'm like, so my pity party didn't last long. And the whole point is schedule. If you work with anybody with Downs, it's like, don't mess with the schedule. Surgery wasn't messing with the schedule. Right. Very concrete, and we need to get ready for it. And yeah, she made her first show. And the first show that season, I think she had a second and a third. And then because we managed to tighten up how the performance wasn't so much physical, it's how you're actually on stage and presenting. And I take my wheelchair to the gym with her. She's like, come on, Dad. I'm like, oh, I hated that. We had a wheelchair burning party if we could. And it's just like everything and it's one of those, everything was always 6 inches out of range. I could not reach it. And I was just like, I learned. It's like, and I remember the physical therapist is like, if you're going to go and start being with your daughter on stage and getting her ready, you're going to have to walk. Ugh. So for 5 weeks of trying to literally she had to lift me up and I'm like 230. And this poor little physical therapist is like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, and Fiona got to see all that training and everything. And finally she's like, okay, because I'd always do a straight leg. She's like, you got to bend. You got to bend. And I'm like, okay, we bent, walked through, took the first couple of steps, had leg braces all the way up. And then we got the leg braces off. And she's like, no more braces. Now you need to step. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And I don't know if you ever seen this thing. There's an old Arnold movie called Raw Deal. And Raw Deal, his friend got shot or whatever, and he's trying to do physical therapy. And it's like, do you ever quit in front of your kids? And he was like, and then she pulled that Raw Deal thing. She's like, you're going to quit in front of your daughter? And I'm like, oh.
That would have been a good video right there, right?
We got to the walker, and I would use the walker at the gym. Then I got used to not having the walker, and there was the cane at the gym. And then finally, no more cane, and now I'm doing a little bit of running. And the whole point was, she was like, let's go, Dad. I'm like, I'm tired. She's like, yeah, everybody's tired. Let's go.
He was getting you.
So I call it payback, huh?
Right.
But she enjoys it. I enjoy being her trainer and meal prep and motivator and whatever. It's just, we're a good team.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in the future, because we got it for a few more years to go.
Well, I'm certain that's for all your fans, including myself. I can't wait to see how it all goes. And I really appreciate the time you all took out of your schedule to talk to me tonight. I really appreciate it. And I know your fans are out there and cheering you on. You probably can't even hear them all. Amongst the 8,000 people, even in the big arenas and stuff, and there's a lot of people find inspiration in you. I know that. And thanks again for sharing your story with us. I really appreciate it more than you know.
Can you say bye to your fans?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I love it.
All right, you.